Yo, what's up? What's up to another episode of the 10 and 2 podcast. It's me, Smith Jones. Tonight, as you can see, you know what I'm saying? I guess everybody got things going on, which is understandable. So for the moment, it's just me. Maybe somebody will pop in. Maybe they won't. We'll see how the night goes. But anyway, that don't stop the show, man. This is a every week thing, and I'm gonna make sure that it comes to you every week. If you enjoy it, you know what I'm saying, hit the like and subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? Let's see this thing grow, man. So we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Government has no use for people who are smart. That's why social media has become so addictive. Like, that's not by accident. Social media is purposefully addictive and it's making you dumb. Anti intellectualism is not something that happened by accident, it's an agenda. Like, capitalism has no use for a smart people. So now we are in a period where you have to actually involve yourself in extracurricular activities that tune up your brain and keep you smart when 30 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, people literally used to pick up a book when they were bored. They used to go to the library when they were bored. They used to go on walks and craft and things like that. They used to create when they were bored. These are all things that are good for your brain's health. This is good for your cognitive health. And now we have to actually force ourselves to do those things because we're in a period where the government wants us to be addicted to them damn phones. And I know I sound like a conspiracy theorist, but it's not a theory, it's the truth.
I definitely agree with what she's saying. It is a lot of content. I won't say it is to make you dumb. I think it has a purpose. Some of it is to allow you to escape what's going on in the world. I mean, it's a lot of crazy stuff going on. And if you dwell on it all day long, 24/7, it's going to take you down. So it's good to find something that'll make you laugh. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, um, just exploring different possibilities. But also, what she was saying is very true as well. Like reading. I try to read, you know what I'm saying, at least a book per month, something different. I try to learn something different every month. Like I'm always learning something new, whether I utilize it at work or I just do it on the side until I get it perfected. Then I might display it. Like right now, I just got back into learning how to make beats, man. I mean, music always been a passion of mine. Nothing that I really ever did on a professional level, but I love it. I enjoy it. So, I make beats for myself. I might play it for a couple of close people because, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I do take pride in everything that I produce. You know what I'm saying? No matter how it sounds, I kind of know the idea of what I want. So it may sound bad to one person, but, to me, I know what I want to hear. So I still hear that. So, you know what I'm saying? Being creative, learning new things is definitely important, man. But as far as having not having a use for smart people, I would say they have a use for smart people if you can fit into the role they want you in. You know what I mean? Like if you find yourself trapped, then yeah, it's difficult being an intelligent person in a trap situation because you know what I'm saying, they don't want you to think, I mean, it's more or less like just do what you came to do and go about your business. We don't want your input. And that's like a dangerous place to be because, like if you can't grow, if you can't showcase your full potential, then you're cutting yourself off at the knees, and that's no good for you. You know what I'm saying, especially long term. So just staying focused, trying to progress and move forward. You know what I'm saying, constantly bettering yourself is part of being a human. Like if you're not doing that, then man, you you got some issues you really need to think about. Um, I think that a lot of people have stopped using their imagination. A lot of things that we enjoy today came from someone's imagination. Lights, vehicles. I mean, down to the smallest things, the Glade plugins. It came from somebody's imagination. And if we stop using our imagination, new things don't get created. And you could tell by like a lot of music these days, like a lot of music that you hear now is like parts of other people's songs, or like you hear a song and you like it, it's because part of that song is like something that you heard that was already popping. And most of the time, the song that you like previously was made from something else, you know? And that's one of the things that made rap great, but also the lyrics made rap great. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't just the sample from an old song that you loved. You know, it was the lyricism on top of that that made it great. You know, but with the decrease, I ain't gonna say decrease in lyricism. I'm gonna say the change in lyricism and what people want to hear now and what's being pushed. That some of those things are missing, and I I can personally tell the difference between some songs I listen to and others. I know some challenge me to think. Some make me think later on down the road, like, oh wow, that's what he meant. And some of them is just like Dr. Seuss, you know, jump over the moon, grab a spoon, And I mean, and that's good sometimes when you just want to be free. But even down to my music, man, I like my music to spark my brain cells. So that's very important. But yeah, you definitely got to keep sharpening your sword because nobody's going to do it for you. You got to do it for yourself, and you never know. It may come a time where creativity and being intelligent may be the only thing that puts food on your table. So you never want to give that up. Never, never. I mean, you could think about the Harlem Renaissance, jazz, like all the people who used their creativity in the toughest times in the world. Some of the greatest art was created during the roughest periods of, what I'm saying, our culture. So if we was to ever hit that stage again, I mean, I hope that we could pull ourselves out. I hope that we can find other ways to get ourselves out because, rap changed a lot for the culture. You know what I mean? Like, not all good, but not all bad. So we have to hold on to our creativity. We have to hold on to our intelligence. Writers like Langston Hughes, we got to have those people within our culture, man, because you know that's people like him. That's kind of what got us out of a position where they're all ignorant. You know what I mean? Like some people had undeniable intellect, undeniable talent to the point where they had no choice but to open the door for them. You know what I'm saying? So you don't never want to give that up. And so you got to be mindful of what you're consuming because you don't want that to like dilute, you know what I'm saying, who you are as a person or, kind of train you on a level where you can't turn on your switch when it's time for you to get creative or turn on your switch when it's time for you to, what I'm saying, use your critical thinking skills. Like you need to hold on to that. So, that's just something that I feel like everybody needs to know. Is what time is it? 7:54. Um, more on intelligent people and things that you can do. Like me, I personally got into computers. I try to learn how to do programming. Um, wasn't good at it, just kept plugging away, plugging away, plugging away. And now I find myself, what I'm saying, with opportunities in that field. Um, always music. Um, like far as your kids, they like video games. There are free programs that they can download on a computer and they can learn how to build video games, not just play them. You know what I mean? And a lot of them are free until you sell X amount of copies. So that's a good thing. You know what I'm saying, to look into if you got a child who's really really into gaming, and they like building stuff and creating stuff, and they got a real good person. I mean, imagination. That's a good thing. Also, like when you're in your circle with your friends, I mean, for me, I have friends where I know if I'm around them, I'm cutting up, I'm laughing, I'm joking, I'm chilling, I'm having fun. But then I got other friends that when I'm around, I already know what type of conversation we're gonna have. Now, I try not to mix the two, but sometimes you can't help it if you are all part of the same circle. Sometimes you're gonna be around each other. But it's good having that balance. You know what I'm saying? Having people around you that's gonna challenge you because you may not get it from your employer. You may not get it, within your household. Sometimes you might not get it from nobody. You got to challenge yourself. So, you know, like I learned like how to do little puzzles. I learned how to, you know what I'm saying? I know how to make candles. Like I've learned so many things that, most people would consider useless, but I mean, you never know. We might come upon a time where we go back to candles. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's just always good to keep bringing something new into your spectrum. Um, like reading, I read. I used to be into like science fiction books, not so much because they become repetitive if you read books that's within a certain realm. But I read a lot of books on government, self improvement, all types of stuff, man. Like just trying to be as dynamic as I can be as possible because with the world changing, and you got to be able to move with all the jabs, all the hooks, everything the world throw at you. You got to be able to duck them and think your way out of it when you find yourself in a tight situation. So, it's always good to stay sharp. I mean, don't let nobody make you feel ashamed for what I'm saying, expressing your intelligence. You know what I'm saying. You don't have to be no ass about it. You know what I'm saying, like be condescending or nothing like that. But you know, don't don't hide yourself. Never do that. Don't never hide yourself. So because it's me by myself, this is my first time doing it, I'm gonna be 100% honest. It's not gonna be long. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna drop a couple of jewels on this next video, and it's still gonna go up. It's still gonna be a part of the playlist. You know what I'm saying? And if it comes to a point where I feel like, me, just expressing my opinion personally by myself is a thing, I might make other content like this as well, along with the podcast with other people. I mean, y'all just let me know, what I'm saying, once you see it, just tell me if I should keep going or not. I appreciate it. I mean, I feel like any comment, what I'm saying, any criticism, I can use it, good or bad. That don't bother me. I'm all about forward progress. So we're gonna get to the next vid.
Amazes me how every time I find some life changing information, it's always so simple. Please do not let the simplicity of what the fuck I'm about to tell you go right over your head. The other day I was on TikTok and I was watching this girl and she was talking about her name is like Aphrodite or it's some goddess name or some shit like that. And she was saying how to manifest your dream life, you have to pay attention to what you are paying attention to. If you want to be wealthy, you need to pay with your attention. So many people are gonna see this video and think like, duh, like, are you fucking? But no, do not let what I'm telling you go right over your head. Every decision that you make from the time that you wake up to the time you go to sleep, consciously or unconsciously, is moving you closer to the life you want or further away. All of the shit on your For You page, if it's not what you want, if it's not what you want, get rid of it. The Pooh Shiesty shit, the funny videos, all that bullshit is meant to capture your attention. All of these things, you think it doesn't really matter, but it's literally fragmenting your attention and you're not really focused on what you want. The more that you can focus and lock in on what you want, the faster it will come. I feel like I cracked the fucking code.
Yeah, what he's saying is correct. Um, it's like any other thing. It's a saying. Uh, give me heat, and then I'll put in the wood. You know what I'm saying? When referring to a wood furnace, you can't get no heat until you put wood in there. You know what I mean? TV ain't coming on unless you give it electricity. You gotta put something in to get something out. And when it comes to attracting things that you want, like depend, especially if it's something difficult, like if a lot of mistakes you've made or decisions you've made have pushed you away from your goal, it's going to take at least an equal or greater amount to pull that back. You know what I mean? So it like making mistakes, being conscious of what you're doing and the consequences of your action play a big role in, what I'm saying, getting where you want to be at in life. Like you can make mistakes, but you got to be conscious of the fact that you made a mistake and you willing to accept, what I'm saying, what came with it and you're prepared to fix it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it takes. If that's what you really want to do, then that's what you got to do. I remember me and my homeboy one night we was talking about this very same thing, and he said something, and it stuck with me ever since then. This has been like years, probably over like 20 years ago. He said, "Man, the stuff you really want in life, you gotta want it like you want to wake up in the morning. Like like when you lay down, you expect to wake up. That's how you got to want your goals. You gotta want them so bad that they're already there. You know what I'm saying? You gotta breathe it. You know what I'm saying? It's really got to be a part of your being. And along with that is you can't want two things that don't work together. You know what I mean? Like you can't want to be a husband, but then you want to be somebody who's, living a life that isn't befitting of a husband. You know what I mean? Those two things don't go together. So you're gonna constantly be at odds with what you're really trying to accomplish. You know what I mean? Or like saying, um, I want to be a doctor, but at the same time, I want to party with my friends. It ain't too many people who got out of law school and partied on the weekend. That's rigorous. A lot of times, in most cases, you probably not even gonna have time for a job. You know what I mean? Unless you are in a medical field and they're understanding of the fact that you got classes or whatever. But like, you gotta want what you want. You can't want something that's gonna contrast with it. You can't allow yourself to be removed from that frame of mind, especially something that's already hard. Like you can look at the numbers of what it would take for you to get there. You know what I mean? Unless you got undeniable God given talent. Like, okay, take Wimby for example, basketball player. As tall as he is, he still had to learn how to play basketball. He not the first person his height to be in the NBA. The rest of them weren't as good as him. You know what I mean? The rest of them they didn't have the ability to move like he moved. They moved like big men. He moved like a small man. You know what I mean? So, he was blessed with that gift, but he still had to work. He gonna have to continue to work because the more he play, the more they're gonna get used to him. The older he get, the more he gonna slow down. You know what I mean? So he might have to stop dribbling outside of the key and go more to a post game. You know what I mean? I mean, for all we know, it could be another big man to come in the league that can handle them within the next couple of years. But regardless, you know what I mean? Like you can want something, but it's got to be real. Like it can't be taught. Like like sometimes you got to sacrifice sleep. You got to sacrifice the things that you want, the pleasures. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to sacrifice your necessities. You know what I mean? It's people who done moved out of their house and lived in their car. I know it's been a couple of celebrities with that story. Went to Hollywood and slept in their car. You know what I mean? When they probably could have went and got a job somewhere and had an apartment, but they chose what they wanted to do. They set out to do it, and they would not let nothing stop them. They rather die than what I'm saying, not obtain that dream. And sometimes, man, that's the type of energy you got to bring to the fight. Because if the numbers say, what I'm saying, this percentage only makes it, that's what you're fighting against. You know what I'm saying? It ain't for joke. It ain't for play. You know what I'm saying? Them numbers are real. So if we say only 10% of people make it to this level, you better know you're gonna have a fight on your hands because there's other people trying just like you. But only 10% of y'all gonna make it. Regardless of what you think, the numbers show it's only be 10%. So you're gonna have to fight. You know what I'm saying? When they take a day off, you don't. You know what I'm saying? They take a break, you don't. They playing around, you not. That's the type of work it takes. You know what I'm saying? You might have to tell your significant other, look, yo, man, for these next couple of months, man, I'm gonna need for you to cook. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna need for you to handle these groceries. You know what I'm saying? Getting the groceries. I might need for you to handle doing the kids' homework. Whatever the situation you in, you know what I'm saying? Especially you got a partner, you might have to be like, look, you're gonna have to handle that. You know what I'm saying? I gotta do this. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the only way I'm gonna get there. Just approaching the situation, whatever you want like that, that's the attention you gotta pay. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't just physical, it's mental too. You know what I mean? Like you can't you can't want to be a lawyer, but want to be a criminal at the same time. I mean, you can, you can do it, but if you want to be a great lawyer, it will be hard because in order to be a great lawyer, you got to practice the law to the highest level. That means you can't be no criminal. You know what I mean? So, these are just a couple of things. The night is short. It's Friday. I've been out myself, taking care of some family things, spending some time with family as well. I know the kids is graduating, so it ain't a big thing tonight. But anybody that sees this video and you like, what I'm saying, what's being said, just let me know in the comments. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all night.